White Sox baseball on CSN is presented by State Farm. Beautiful sunny day in the Twin Cities and Target Field in downtown Minneapolis as the Sox and Twins play their final game of the 2017 season. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti alongside Steve Stone. And this Minnesota lineup has shown itself to be very deep. Last night's game was a definite indication of that.
Usually look at the top of the lineup and say there's danger there. But last night was a bottom part of the order that pretty much got it done as the Twins ran away and hit. As you can see, they were hitting .500. Extra base hits, 7 of them. Runs batted in and runs scored, 8 and 8. So Rosario, Garver, and Adrianza got the job done. Hopefully today we can neutralize those guys.
Sox have Jose Abreu and Tim Anderson out of the lineup today, so the focal point once again, and rightfully so, is Avi Garcia.
I think Garcia's had a wonderful year against the Twins. He's going to be very sorry to see when this season series ends, and last night was no exception. Last night he had 3 hits. This is against Glenn Perkins late. He slices it away from Rosario, who can't get to it, and Avi is off to the races. We'll take a look at what he's done against Minnesota this year, and it's been awesome. He's hitting .455 against them. 30 hits coming into the finale today. He's driven in 12. He's scored 10. An OPS otherworldly. So Avi has picked one team that he's really tormented, and he will be sorry that it's over today.
It's an old friend on the mound for Minnesota today.
Bartolo Colon going to the mound, and this is a guy at 44 years of age that has made a few concessions to the aging process, but not many. He is a strike-throwing machine normally. Gets the ball and throws it, works very quickly. His infielders love to play behind him. He's added a straight change and a bit of a slider to go with that fastball, which he has thrown upwards of 95% of the time. Miguel Gonzalez, his mound opponent, has been brilliant lately. He's gotten everything over the plate. He also works very quickly. He's moved it up, down, in, and out, and basically done just an outstanding job since coming back off the disabled list. So there is the matchup for today. The last 4 starts for Gonzo has been terrific. As far as Colon is concerned, his last 5 starts, he's 4-1, so he's starting to throw it very well at a perfect time for the Twins. So it should be exciting in the finale. It's a very early start today. Hopefully the boys are awake.
Sox will try to avoid the sweep today against Minnesota, trying to get the final game of the season between the Sox and Twins. First pitch coming up shortly.
White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. The national clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Last time the Sox and Twins played day baseball in this park, there was a lengthy rain delay, and the Sox demolished Nick Turley and the Twins. It is a beautiful day, as the sign suggests. Here at Target Field, Minnesota takes the field in its red jerseys, and the Sox try to stave off the sweep. With this starting nine, White Sox lineup brought to you by the Webb Auto Group for the best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. Abreu and Anderson both out today, so it's Garcia, Sanchez, and Garcia. Then Davidson playing first, Smith, and then Rob Brantley in his first White Sox start since 2015. Saladino, Hansen, and Engel are the final three.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they're going to line up behind Bartolo Colon. It's a different defense with Rosario, Granite, and Kepler in the outfield. Then Escobar, Polanco, Dozier, and Vargas in the infield. Chris Jimenez gets a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is the venerable Bartolo Colon. 21 starts between Atlanta and Minnesota. He's 6-10 this year, but starting to throw his best baseball of the year right now. ERA is way up there. He normally is a strike throwing machine. Gone are the days where he's going to strike out a whole lot of people. He's a sinker baller who pitches to contact. Just a gorgeous day for baseball. And the umpires for the game this afternoon, the finale of the season series between these two clubs. Quinn Wolcott has the plate, Brian O'Nora at first, Paul Emmel, the crew chief, is at second, and Scott Berry is at third. So they've thrown the ball around the infield, and that means that with this early start here today on getaway day, we are ready for baseball. And I am ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner. What should I call you today?
I get to pick now?
Yes. Although, let's just go with Jason Benetti because Bart's ready.
He's always going to be ready.
Yeah,
quick worker.
ready.
You got to pick your adjectives fast today. Garcia in the box. First pitch is outside. Ball number 1, and we are underway from Target Field in the finale between these two teams here in 2017. Bartolo Colon, who made his major league debut 20 years ago, April 4th, 1997. Liar Liar was in theaters, and Bartolo Colon was taking a major league mound for the first time. He is truly a wonder, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really different these days compared to what he once was. His fastball down. It's down to 81.5% of the time. Slider at 8.8, changeup 6.8, and other pitches, whatever he invents, they're at 2.9.
When you go for 15 years, we have data back to 2002 on pitch types. When you go for 15 years throwing 82% fastballs, that's magic.
He was up late. He was up to 90, anywhere from 95 to 98% fastballs at one point. But you see the fastball now. I mean, that's 90. That's probably the top of where he wants to be. He's going to throw a lot of fastballs, 85, 86. He's going to get them to sink. And the occasional changeup.
Swing and a miss at 86. Bartolo Colon opens the game with a strikeout of Larry Garcia.
But it was two fastballs back to back, one at 90 and this one with a little more movement at 86. And that's Bartolo Colon in a nutshell.
That could be a pretty big nutshell.
He's a very big man, but phenomenally durable, and every now and then he takes 3-4 months off, whatever it is, to have some stem cells put back in to rejuvenate that arm, which has been remarkably durable.
He's got a strike at the top of the zone to Yomer Sanchez. There are only 2 active White Sox players who have ever faced Bartolo Colon in that whole major league career. That's how young the Sox are this season, is they haven't nearly been around the block enough to get to see him. The only two active Sox who faced him in the regular season are James Shields and Lucas Giolito.
And I got to believe they're not going to get at bats today unless we go 22 innings.
Don't say it.
Which would be frightening.
Yolmer in the air to center field. And Zach Granite is underneath for round number 2. Let's take a look at our picks to click and see who Steve has who's already made it out.
No, I'm reformed and changed today.
Oh, you're going. Oh, that's why you're going Avi. Careful on that limb. It's a tie for second place, by the way.
Well, because you picked them yesterday, you little weasel.
I also picked 17 other correct players while you were picking Avi and Melky during their hot streak. So
I can't remember back in the Melky days.
The days of Melk. Here is Avi. James Shields, by the way, is 2 for 2 career against Bartolo Colon.
Get him out there. And by the way, Bartolo's going to get a whole lot of strikes today because he's always around the plate. And Quinn Wolcott is going to be calling a lot of them, so the boys better be swinging. Not at that one necessarily.
Wasn't across the board advice that you were trying to share.
But swing at strikes, but certainly be swinging, because if you're taking anything with 2 strikes, I think Quinn Wolcott is going to be calling a lot of them because Bartolo is around the zone.
Avi in the 3 spot with Abreu out today, and there is strike 3. He's pinpoint with his command. Bartolo Colon with bookend strikeouts in the first inning, and the Sox will turn to Miguel Gonzalez after this. Buxton list today. Byron Buxton dealing with a hand injury, so Dozier, Rosario, and Mauer are the top 3. Polanco batting 4th, and Kepler back in to face the right-hander Escobar Vargas. Jimenez and Zach Granite takes Buxton's spot in center field.
Let's take a look at the defense, how they line up behind Miguel Gonzalez. It is Liuri, Adam, and Abisail in the outfield with Sanchez, Saladino, Hansen, and Davidson in the infield. Kevin Smith gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is the red-hot Miguel Gonzalez, who's been brilliant lately. On for his 22nd start, he's 7-10. His ERA sinking at 4.30. There you look at the rest of the numbers.
6 of his 8 starts since coming off the disabled list have seen the opposition get 2 runs or fewer.
It's been a really good run. After coming off the DL, you never really know what you're going to return with, but he's returned with everything, including excellent control.
Last start, no walks, 8 innings against the Tigers, 7 hits, 2 earned runs. He struck out 9, which is a season high for him. Miguel Gonzalez, 33 years old, 11 years younger than his opposition today, Bartolo Colon.
And here's an interesting stat. Miguel has walked just 3 of 132 hitters leading off an inning this year. That's among baseball's best. The 6th from the top of 160 qualified starters.
Pop-up foul territory back and right. Corey Kluber against the Yankees the other day just finished a streak of 10 straight starts in which he didn't allow a leadoff walk.
That's going to keep your ERA down to a manageable point. In the case of Kluber, it could propel him to the Cy Young Award, although Chris Sale is going to be a worthy opponent for that. But if you just look at the numbers head to head, a few more strikeouts for Chris Sale, in fact many more, but other than that, Kluber's got him despite missing a month of the season.
His teammates have helped too. Indians have beaten Sale a couple of times now.
Indians have, the last 3 times out, they've just tattooed Chris Sale, which is something that very few teams can ever say, but for whatever reason the matchups favor the Indians against Sale.
Dozier floats this one on the left side of the infield, and the cavalry's there. It's the shortstop Saladino charging in for out number 1. Ever dream of being a White Sox player?
Yes.
You were one. Now's your chance if you weren't. Attend the 2018 Chicago White Sox Fantasy Camp at Camelback Ranch, Glendale, January 14th through the 20th, and be treated like a pro. For more information or to reserve your roster spot, Steve, call 623-302-5078 or sign up at whitesox.com.
And by the way, it's a beautiful facility, and you're going to get a chance to feel what it's like to go to a regular spring training. It's just a wonderful experience.
Eddie Rosario first pitch hunting. And another pop-up. Matt Davidson in from first and fading back to make the play for out number 2.
Well, by the way, there is a potential landmine facing these Minnesota Twins. And with Miguel Sano out, and nobody really knows when he's going to return with an adverse reaction in the hamstring area to running to first base, Byron Buxton has a hand injury, and they don't know for sure how serious it is, but if in fact it is a broken bone, the hamate bone specifically, if it is that, he's probably going to be lost for the year. If he's lost for the year, it's devastating for the Twin chances for postseason. We'll have to wait and see if they make an announcement later in the game.
Just minutes before we went on air, the Star Tribune, the local paper, reported on the hamate bone injury for Buxton. That being a possibility, that is. He does have the hand injury. They're saying doctors fear that it is the hamate, as you're talking about.
We did something last night that I've never seen him do, and that would lead you to believe that there was a bit of a problem, and that is he tried to bunt on consecutive pitches, one a drag bunt, one a push bunt. You'd very rarely see him doing it, especially the way he's been swinging it lately. So we'll have to wait and see the result of this, but there is a bit of a tip that goes with it, and that is the position your hands are on the bat when you swing.
Left center field, angle back at the track. It's off the wall and past him, allowing Mauer to scoot into second base with a 2-out double on 2 strikes.
Joe Mauer becomes even more important to this team with the amount of offense out of this lineup, and it's been a very good lineup, but Joe is swinging it right now as well as he swung it in the last few years. Big power the opposite way, and this is the reason why his home run numbers are down in this park. Because at the Metrodome, these line drives all left the ballpark, and here with the spacious dimensions, they don't. This one off the wall, 377 mark. A 2-base hit for Mauer, who's had a pretty good series and is starting to sting the baseball. And again, timing wise, the Twins really need Joe Mauer to start producing some runs.
It's his 392nd career double. He's second on the Twins all-time list. And you mentioned him swinging a hotter bat. He's got multiple hits in 10 of his last 17 starts.
Yeah, he's been swinging it well. And we told you about hitters, about hitters and where they keep the bat. There's a lot of guys that like to wrap the bottom finger around the knob of the bat. And that means that the knob of the bat is going to sit in the middle of their hand. Specifically for a right-hand hitter, it's it's the left hand that happens. Left-hand hitter, just the opposite. But if the knob of the bat sits in the middle of your hand, and the concussion that a bad swing will produce, it's a little easier to break that very delicate hamate bone at the base of your hand.
And it's not a bone that you need. We've seen guys have it taken out.
Yep.
Danny Espinosa is one of them. In recent memory, you can have it taken out, but the surgical procedure to do it has you on the shelf for a while.
And it would be, if in fact surgery is required, it would be till next spring. And with the loss of Sano also, that's a tough go for these Twins.
Twins, who are in the second wild card slot as we open play today at 69 and 63.
See the numbers of Polanco against our Sox this year. 7 home runs in 16 games. For a guy that has 9, I would say it's time to change the game plan, and I think that's what they've been doing the last couple of games against Polanco.
He's not seen anything inside so far this at bat.
That was a moving fastball, and he was able to foul it off. He did take a rolling breaking ball out of the ballpark in this series, and that was in the first game of the series where he hit his home run in the 3rd inning. It was a roller from James Shields.
Then later, just for fun, he hit another one against Aaron Bummer in the 7th inning. 2-2. Polanco career 3 for 6 against Gonzalez with a double.
And for a guy who is ostensibly a contact hitter, he has taken to swinging very hard, which is not going to serve him well average wise. But right now he might as well take advantage of a red hot streak.
He's only got 1 game left against the Sox. He's a little hungry for more home run. High into the sky, left side. Saladino is back, and he makes the play in front of Garcia for out number 3. No score after 1. Gonzalez versus Colon. Dan Hayes is next. Along on CSNChicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday shop. The Great Escape. April 4th, 1997, Dan, was Bartolo Colon's Major League debut. How old were you?
I was 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're an old guy.
I am an old guy.
We need a paperweight, too, by the way. Everything's blowing away.
It's a beautiful day, though.
It is. It is. So you got a lot of injury updates for us. So
unfortunately.
Yeah, potpourri of injury updates here. Jose Abreu was out today. Sounds like he should be back tomorrow, but he hurt his elbow last night on a collision with Yolmer Sanchez on a throwback to the infield. Pardon me.
Well,
Yolmer.
I mean, if he ran into Carlos, he would have teleported back to 2016, which would have been
really interesting,
dangerous as well.
Yes.
Tim Anderson out of the lineup too today.
Tweaked his hamstring. So with the quick turnaround, Rick Renneria just said, look, give both guys the day off and just be cautious about it. So it sounds like both should be back Friday, but at the same time, you know, they're being cautious at this point. So beyond them, Nicky Delmonico took some dry swings yesterday, did a little bit of work. First work for him since he sprained the wrist. Asked him today just how he's come along, and he said he feels good about where he is, but at the same time, he's going to continue to be cautious with it too, because it obviously can be something that lingers and bothers him the rest of the season. As eager as he is to continue his season, he's got some perspective about what he should be doing. And lastly, Yoan Moncada didn't make the trip. I know you guys probably noticed that. The White Sox are basically have him sitting at home and just trying not to aggravate it right now.
Matt Davidson, a laser to left field. This ball is off the wall. Rosario gets there quickly. Davidson is safe at second base. What a gun Rosario had in left.
Eddie Rosario has one of the best arms in baseball for a left fielder, and sometimes we've seen him in right. Then in right field it becomes a good arm. In left field it's a great arm. And if the throw is a little closer to second, which would have been a tough thing to do, they would have had Matt out. But he made a good slide at second base to avoid the tag. He crushes this ball and unfortunately doesn't get up quite high enough, and Rosario makes it awfully close. When they have their normal outfield of Rosario, Buxton, and Kepler, it's as good a throwing outfield as there is in baseball.
Strike to Kevin Smith. You were talking about Yoan Moncada,
Right.
and on Friday, tomorrow, there was a TBA in the Sox notes for the starting rotation position, but it seems as though we can officially say,
yeah, positive injury news on this one.
Yeah,
Ronaldo Lopez will come off the disabled list. He will make his start tomorrow, and he threw a 30-pitch, 35-pitch bullpen the other day after that 50-pitch bullpen on Saturday. So he's thrown Saturday, Tuesday, and he feels great. He said that he has no concerns about his back at this point. Feels like the velocity will definitely be there, and that was something that he knew early in that start, August 17th, that the velocity wasn't there, and he felt off, and he said he expects to come back and feel as good as he did going into that start.
With young guys getting their opportunity, they want to go out there each and every time because they know this opportunity might not come around again, but you have to protect them sometimes from themselves. That's why what Abreu did on the mound. And you've talked about the fact that, have you seen as well as we have, and I'm sure you have, the fact that he is taking more of a leadership role, because that was a big thing to get Lopez out of there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing I actually wrote about last night. Jose Abreu has increased the leadership, and it's not just with the Spanish-speaking guys anymore. It's because of his grasp of English. He has become a guy that everybody goes to, and Rick Renneria talked about that a little bit yesterday. Just said that, you know, sometimes guys get more comfortable in their third, fourth years, and that he feels like Jose is just comfortable around the players, is comfortable in his own skin, and definitely the grasp of English has helped that. Tyler Saladino was really good talking about that. He said, I have a lot of easier conversations with him now, and it's because there's small talk. You can have the small talk without the need of an interpreter. And you can't do that. You can't call Billy Russo, the White Sox great interpreter, out onto the field for every.
I would say great. Fantastic is the word I'd use for Billy.
And you just can't call him out for every play. So Abreu is able to get into conversations on the mound now. Renneria said he knows how to talk to guys. He knows how to keep them, you know, balanced.
Rob Brantley down the right field line. And here comes Davidson. Brantley with an RBI single, and the Sox are on the board first. Their first lead in this series thanks to Brantley.
But he said that he knows how to be a guy that can keep his players motivated, knows how to get on them at the right times, and really has just taken on this leadership role. And Abreu says he loves it. He really enjoys it, has enjoyed being through this phase of the rebuild, and particularly loves seeing the young talent that has come up these last month or so, month and a half, with Yoan Moncada and Lucas Giolito and Ronaldo Lopez.
Well, I think he feels, and justifiably so, like he can be the best mentor for Yoan Moncada, being countryman, number one. Also, when Jose got here, a lot like Yoan Moncada, they have to deal with everything that any new player has to deal with coming to the major leagues, but they also have to deal with a new country, a new language, a new everything. And Jose's been through it. He can certainly mentor Yoan.
I thought Tyler Saladino said it best on that. He said, look, and the White Sox knew that Abreu had these great leadership qualities when they signed him, but it would take some time. And Saladino said, when you get there, even if you have those qualities, if you can't effectively get it across, if you can't communicate with your guys, it's going to take a little while. And he said, it's so much easier now. And he said he'll mix in some of his own Spanish too, Spanglish, and they can talk so much easier. And you know, we had a great conversation with Abreu on the bench before yesterday's game about his all-star experience here 3 years ago, and he was pointing out the spots that Mike Stanton hit home runs in the Derby, and it's just a whole lot easier across the board. And Abreu is, you can see it, especially in the way he is always smiled. He's always been a very upbeat guy, but you can see it even more so this year how much he's enjoyed. You know,
this is the happiest we've seen him in his entire career with the Sox has been this year, and I think you take everything into consideration. It's been a great year for him.
It's been his best season since that UMass rookie year.
This one ends up in center field. Saladino moves Brantley to second base with 1 out here in the second. What name change forms don't work for you? You got a Carlos Sanchez and a Mike Stanton in the same half inning.
Oh, wow,
nobody changes any names.
He's hitting it much farther, Giancarlo. However, there's no doubt he changed his batting style, changed his name, and you know, I will, if you don't mind, guys, I would love to be called Giancarlo Stone next year.
Oh, I like that.
So I can hit him a little farther.
Yeah, I think that'll help you.
Of course, it's only on the golf course these days. Other than that, nothing.
The Chiron guy might not be happy with you though for that. Just adding on the extra letters. Steve's much easier.
Well, we travel our own, so do we travel
I think Dave Ross will figure that out.
Is he one of those guys?
Yeah, he's smart enough to get the names right and then some.
Yes, he's smart enough to build a submarine.
Here's a pop-up from Alan Hansen on the left side of the infield. Polanco gives it up to Rosario in short left for out number 2. Michael Kopech, most outstanding pitcher in the Southern League. He's moved up to AAA. When you were down in Birmingham, what have you heard and what did you hear about Kopech?
It's hard. Very much like Eloy Jimenez, where there were not enough positive superlatives thrown his way. Just impressed by the workout, impressed by the fact that he can throw 95 on his 99th pitch when he's at a career high. But the other day, Buddy Bell's been here, assistant general manager, and he had a great liner. He told Rick Renneria that if he could only watch one more game for the rest of his life, it would be a Michael Kopech start.
Really?
And yeah, it was a great little one-liner. He just said the way he finishes batters when there's 2 outs, that he can kind of smell that blood in the water, and really is impressive with the way he puts guys away at that 2-out point, and has been thoroughly impressed with the way he's pitched this year.
Well, and just talking to Kopech in spring training, and I know you did too, and we've all gotten a chance to meet the guy. He gets thrills out of strikeouts. He's a very much a thrill seeker pitcher.
He definitely enjoys it, and the fact that he can throw as hard as he does helps. But he also realizes that he does need to work on, and he's used the slider more effectively in those situations in the second half. The changeup is the next step. It's a good changeup. I don't think he's at that point yet where he is using it at all times.
Yep.
But at the same time, he is comfortable with it. It's just that he's going to, I mean, you throw 99 miles an hour. I'm imagining that would be the easiest way to think you can get past guys. And
well, talking to him in the spring, he said, you know, he enjoyed.
As that ball's down the line, Adam Engel spins one into the right field corner as well. Brantley's coming home, and the brakes are on for Saladino at third. RBI double for Adam Engel, his first hit of this series, and it's 2-0 here in the second.
13th driven in by Adam, and the hit parade continues. Takes it right down the line. Vargas, who is not quite the defensive first baseman, as is Joe Mauer. He couldn't get to it. He was off the line, and no chance for him. But Michael Kopech was talking about the fact that the identity of being a power pitcher obviously is there, because he's been a power pitcher pretty much his whole life. But I like the fact that he went down specifically to work on the secondary pitches. That was impressive from a very young pitcher.
And while he was doing that, he held the Southern League to a batting average of 184 for the year.
Yeah.
Remarkable
so
year with that.
Yeah.
Well, Dan Hayes, what you got on Minnesota? You like this town or what?
Oh, it's one of the better ones for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's easy. Everything's easy here to get around. It's just like it.
Taking
Beautiful ballpark.
taking any walleye back with you?
Not this time. Next year, I'll bring the cooler with me.
You got a book signing at the Mall of America coming up or what?
What's a book?
Get out of here. Dan Hayes, our CSN insider. Great to see you, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you, and my apologies to Giancarlo and Yolmer.
Oh, no. We put up the numbers the other day. Yolmer has been significantly better than Carlos, but he remembers where he came from. So thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Always appreciate it. Dan Hayes, our CSN insider, presented by The Great Escape. You can follow him at CSN Hayes. Bartolo Colon goes high for the strikeout, and the inning's over. But the Sox with 4 hits, including Rob Brantley's first in the majors in 2 years. It's 2-0 Sox after 1.5. Chicago is presented by State Farm, and we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Wyoming Mutual Telephone in Wyoming, Iowa. Never trust a guy with 2 state names. Is that how the phrase goes?
No, but it's a charming town.
Population 515 as per the 2010 census. Wyoming is playing Iowa in football this week as well. How about that?
See, and those folks are going to get a chance to see it up close and personal.
Josh Allen versus the Hawkeyes. Big quarterback battle going on in Iowa City. Hansen to first for out number 1. Todd Benjaminson, our director, reminds me that he went to Iowa.
I mean the diploma mill?
Ouch.
Oh, he went to the U of Iowa?
He did. And
wow.
To be fair, I was not involved in any of that diploma mill conversation. I'll have the Hawkeyes and Cyclones on September 9th. I don't want people making signs about that. 1 down for Escobar. And he takes a strike with 1 out here in the second.
Guardo's been hitting it pretty well in the series. He's not as good a hitter left-handed as he is right-handed, and the power a little more from the right side than the left.
Miguel Gonzalez has been so efficient and so successful since coming back from the disabled list. That one misstep against the Red Sox, a short outing, 1 2/3, 7 earned runs. Other than that, he's been dynamic. There is some question whether or not at least in some circles, not for us here on the trip, but whether or not he'd actually make this start, considering the waiver trade deadline is at 3 o'clock Central Time today.
Yeah, we should see some movement. We haven't seen much of any to this point. There's been a couple of deals made, but not any of the real big deals that are rumored. Miguel is moving it well, as he has done during this very successful stretch. He also is changing eye levels consistently, which is good.
1-2. Grounded foul by Escobar. Miguel Gonzalez, who became a father for the second time just before the Sox headed off to Los Angeles to play the Dodgers. Has that ball tagged deep to right field. Garcia is back at the warning track in the wall, and it is gone.
Escobar doesn't know that yet, and it's in play, actually.
Looked like it was up and over, but it is a triple for Escobar.
It could very well be that Paul Molitor wants to take a look at this, because depending on what it hit when it bounced up, could actually be a home run.
I thought that ball was out, Steve, at first blush.
It could very well be. Again, if it hits something behind the wall, it is a home run, and we'll take another look. It's a high fastball that Escobar hits awfully hard.
Yeah, that's off the shrubs.
If it is, it's a home run. And I would think.
Oh,
I would think it's
top of the wall.
In that view, it's still in play.
Wow, that is really close. You know what? That hit the very top of the wall.
No, it hits the top of the fence, but then it doesn't hit anything else, and that would mean that the ball is in play.
Yeah, it is a triple. Great call by the umpires in real time.
And credit to Escobar for not breaking it down around second base, because if he did, odds are overwhelming he doesn't get the third for his second triple. And the Twins, the last couple of games, have been a triples machine. You don't see this many triples normally in a series, let alone a little over 2 games.
They had 3 yesterday, and here's the first one today. I mean, that is as close as you can get to a home run without having it leave. And now Vargas takes a strike.
That's one of the things that makes it very difficult to hit home runs here, is the fact that they have, what did you say, 23 feet?
Yeah, 23-foot wall over there in right field.
So not only do you have to hit it far, but you have to hit it way up there.
We've seen a number of bounces off that wall in right field, and when that ball hits that fence, that white fence behind the shrubs, that's a home run. Everything above that line is a home run. And there, the ball legitimately hit the very top of the wall.
Sometimes we've seen it where it hits the top of the wall, then hits that grill work out there and bounces back. You can't really tell. That is a home run. This didn't.
Gonzalez recovers very nicely with his first strikeout of the day. So Escobar at third with 2 down for Jimenez.
Jose in a situation where he didn't want any contact, threw a cutter, only this one didn't cut very much. If anything, it backed up some. And so when a pitcher can't do that by design, and there's only been a few in the history of this game that can do that by design, it fools occasionally the catcher and certainly will fool the hitter. You're not expecting with the spin for the ball to back up, but that's what it did.
Big strikeout. Jimenez the batter with 2 out, and ball number 1.
Chris Jimenez on occasion will put a charge into one, but he's not what you consider a good hitter. He can at times be dangerous.
Jimenez at 208 for the year, 330 on base, so his better attribute is his ability to manipulate the strike zone with 25 walks on the year. It's down 1-2 against Gonzalez here. So the Twins, by the way, asked for the challenge on the home run, and so they are out of challenges today.
We've talked throughout the series about the aberration that's been the splits between home and on the road for the Twins. They're under 500 at home, which for a team trying to get to the playoffs usually is disastrous. Doesn't seem to be in the Twins case, because they're 36-28 on the road.
Well, they're going to have to do it on the road late in the season. They have a 10-game road trip in 11 days to New York, Detroit, and Cleveland the last couple of weeks of September. Low ball 4. Gonzalez walks Jimenez. Head to the park for $1 hot dogs every Wednesday home game through the rest of this season. Take advantage of this unbeatable deal September 6th with the Sox taking on the Indians, 7:10 p.m. Buy tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Third walk of the series for Jimenez, and Zach Granite, the Staten Island native, in his 70th major league at bat, taking the place of Buxton this afternoon.
Twins realize they've got to have a good series here, and then they're going to have to play dominating series against Kansas City. They've got them for 7 games with Tampa Bay in between. So if the Twins are going to get there, it's going to be on the backs of the Royals.
They're going to have to win.
They're going to have to beat them. Yes.
It's not one of those spots where you can beat up on somebody off the leaderboard the rest of the way, essentially, for Minnesota, with the exception of a series against the Tigers and 2 against San Diego. So there's what it looks like. Yankees by a game for the 1 spot. The Twins are at 2, but the Orioles charging fast in that 4 position.
Yeah, you got to keep your eye on them. They're a very talented club that seems to put everything together, and now Zach Britton is back and healthy.
Granite labels this ball for the Twins' first run. Escobar scores. Jimenez to second, 2-1.
8th run of the year, driven in by Zach Granite, who's got some very productive shoes to fill if he's going to be in center field for any length of time. Makes some contact, takes it back up the middle, and it cuts the lead in half.
Last 2 batters are the first 2 batters who have seen a first pitch ball from Gonzalez today, and they walk and provide an RBI single. Brian Dozier, Jimenez at second, Granite at first. Dozier takes a strike.
The Twins now probably look at all of the deals they had for Dozier on the table, and they're very happy they did not part ways with him, because he's having a very solid season.
Great game yesterday. 4 hits for Minnesota. He might be a keeper now.
Well, they could do a whole lot worse than keep him around. Like everything else, I think he's got 1 more year left. Just have to make a decision on just how much he wants, because he's going to get paid handsomely. Nice stop by Kevin Smith.
And he'll go on to visit with Miguel Gonzalez after pitch number 40 of Miguel's afternoon.
It could very well be what he's going to do in this situation, is just change up the set of signs, because you've got a catcher out at second base. And the catcher can read, he can read every variation of the set of signs you're going through, because he's used them all. And so if he's out there any length of time, sometimes you just want to make a change just for this situation, then you'll go back.
On 1-2. Dozier hits it in the air to right field, and Avi Garcia. The inning's over. The Twins get a run, but nothing more. Gonzalez hangs on to the lead as we go to the 3rd.
Behind the scenes with our Sierra Santos, presented by Miller Lite. You can tour the production truck, visit the broadcast booth before the game, and much more. You can enter for your chance to win at csnchicago.com/Miller Lite.
Sounds like fun.
Be a nice day.
Let me correct something I said about the instant replay process as well. Got the official notification from Major League Baseball, and it jogged my memory that the home run decision is a crew chief review. So you don't have to expend your challenge on a home run, over or not. So the Twins do have their challenge remaining in this game. The home run ball is a crew chief review, no matter what inning it is. 1-1. Is there for a strike to Sanchez. A ball and 2 strikes, and the Sox realize Bartolo Colon's going to be around the plate. He came up with 4 hits in the 2nd inning to take the lead. Check swing, no go. Back in 1997, Bartolo Colon made his very first start at the old Metrodome, one of 45 buildings he's pitched in. The third place hitter in the lineup that day for the Twins is his current manager, Paul Molitor. Sanchez rips it to right and foul.
Remember watching Bartolo Colon early in his career. We'd gotten in fairly early. He was on. Can't remember where it was, but he threw 150 pitches that night. And at the 150th pitch to cap off the ball game, it was timed at 100 miles an hour.
In the air, third base side, Escobar gives it a glance and nothing there.
That's how strong and how durable he was at that point. To get number one to 150 pitches and still have enough to get it up there in triple digits. There's the major league career. 4.02 lifetime ERA. And the rest of the numbers very impressive.
Yolmer Sanchez giving him a workout here, up to 41 pitches now with 8 in this sequence. Another payoff and another one coming.
Well, what Bartolo is doing is taking that same fastball, just using it different velocities, and he's had Yolmer a little tardy and he's had him a little too early. So far Yolmer has not been able to square it up.
And a young Twin fan with a souvenir. Two nice plays by the ball people down the line. One on a line drive down the third base side, and there on a ball that kicked off the sidewall.
It's going to be the 11th pitch of the at bat, so he's making a lot of friends with the fans who are receiving the souvenirs.
On the ground at shortstop, Polanco's got a hurry, and Sanchez beats it out. It's an infield single for Yolmer Sanchez.
That one squibbed off the end of the bat, and a tough play for Polanco, who couldn't get there and get it there in time. Yolmer from the left side, so he's got an extra step. He beats this one easily at first. Polanco doing everything he can, but with a 3-2 count, he's going to play back a couple of steps in the infield, and it cost him the base hit.
Sanchez on for Avi Garcia, who struck out on a pitch that was up in the zone in the first. Getaway day in Minneapolis. Sox will be home tomorrow for the first of 3 with Tampa Bay. Twins will stay home to take on the Royals for 3. Sox have now 17 home games remaining, including this 10-game homestand coming up with the Rays, the Indians, and the Giants. Your 40-year reunion with Dwayne Kuiper live from the ballpark. We'll do it on Periscope. Avi fouls it away.
To be shown where? At sea?
No. Periscope is a live video app that the kids use.
No.
Every once and again. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Somebody may have periscoped you and you don't even know it.
Could very well be. Probably a few times, but no, I don't know. I have no recollection of that.
That will not be the subject of today's Sticks and Stones.
And that is my defining comment on that.
On the ground up the middle, base hit. The Sox have hit a bunch of balls pretty hard against Bartolo Colon this afternoon, and 2 on with nobody out in the third. The 2017 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Go to rate.com for a low rate and the best mortgage experience on the planet. So the Sox, who trailed basically wire to wire the first 2 games of this series, have gotten out to an early lead against Cologne. I'm trying to make it more with Davidson, who crushed a ball his first time up. 0-1 to Davidson from Cologne. And he lays off at 89-0-2. How does he do it, Bartolo Colon? I mean, we showed you 82% fastballs in the last 15 years. How does that work?
Pinpoint control and the ability to get a good feel and to make it move, because it's the same pitch, but it moves different ways.
Is that mostly hand on the ball? What is it that allows you to take a little off, put a little more on, get a little extra movement?
The farther out on the tips of your fingers, the faster the ball goes. If you want to slow it down but keep the same arm velocity, you bring it back in your hand and choke it a bit more than you normally would. And the pitchers who can do that won't tip you off as to what's coming, because they have the same arm velocity, which you have a tendency to swing at.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, 1 down in the 3rd.
So this is combined with the Braves and the Twins. Not so good with the Braves and very good with the Twins.
They could use him too. That extra arm, whether or not he's in the starting rotation or if he's a long man for you out of the bullpen in the postseason, there's some flexibility there in terms of innings for Cologne.
Well, Bartolo at this point is thinking about sinking it more than he might have to other hitters, because he's thinking, I got to throw a ground ball.
In the air, right center field. Kepler is over, and Max Kepler puts it away. Smoothly done into the alleyway for Kepler for out number 2.
But Kevin's been up twice. He hit the ball on a line both times and is 0 for 2 to show for it. Nice play by Max Kepler. Cologne does not get the ground ball he wanted, but the defense helps bail him out.
And now here is early pick-to-click leader Rob Brantley.
No, that would have to go to Adam Engel.
Who'd you pick today?
I picked Avi.
Did anybody have Engel? I don't think anybody had Engel.
He's my secondary pick.
He's not. It's not. You don't get. I quit.
You can't. You're just making a monstrous comeback.
I quit my comeback. I want to quit the gym. Brantley swings at the first pitch and elevates it to center field. Brennan for out number 3. 2 on, nobody out. Cologne pitches around it, and we'll play bottom 3 next with Rosario, Mauer, and Polanco coming up.
Powered by AWS, and it's a couple catches in center field last night that were noteworthy. One is Buxton, who can absolutely fly. Needed 68 feet, got every bit of that as he hauls one down in the alley. Would have been 2 or possibly 3 bases. And then Adam Engel went 75 feet, so he went a little bit longer. Catch probability a little more difficult, and he made the play.
Catch probability gives you the percentage chance that somebody's going to make the play based solely on location of the ball, launch angle, exit velocity. As that ball is tattooed fair down the line by Rosario into the corner. Avi's got a long way to go. Rosario is going to break it down at second with a leadoff double.
Good thing he did break it down, because he should be standing at third base. It's pretty tough when the ball goes that far behind you. You're running to second, you lose sight unless you pick up the coach, in this case Gene Glynn at third base. You have a tendency to slow it down. That was a cutter inside, but Rosario was able to hit the daylights out of it, keep it fair. And then it gets hung up at the corner, but Rosario has already broken it down right there. He should be thinking about 3 bases, but not when he does that.
I thought for sure with how long of a run Avi had, he was going to go for 3. As Engel's back on this ball, we'll see if Rosario tests him. He does. Engel's throw is offline, and Rosario is into third with 1 out.
Rosario did something interesting, because he waited about a foot and a half from the bag, and then went back to the bag to use it as something to push off of when he went to third base. It was really a nice technique on tagging up. Rosario, when he does tag up finally, uses the base as a bit of a trampoline effect to get to third base, and he makes it because the throw is just a touch off the mark.
It's almost like a swimmer using the sidewall to go down the next leg of the pool.
No, very nice technique, and got a little maybe added momentum.
Infield in for the Sox with the lead on the line. Polanco goes after the first pitch as well and unceremoniously discards his baseball bat. Sanchez for out number 2, and the Twins evidently are double parked this afternoon.
Not a great at bat for Polanco, who's still a very young hitter. He's 24 years old, and you know, a fly ball of any consequence gets the run home, but he was impatient in that at bat, got a pitch that he couldn't handle, and consequently did not drive the run home. There's a big break.
So now Kepler, there's the off chance that just watching his swings, eyeballing them the last couple of days, that Polanco has gotten a little excited about his home run potential.
There's no doubt, and that's what happens to non-home run hitters who suddenly go on a streak. They believe that just about every pitch they can hit out of the ballpark, and the swing gets longer. And with Polanco, we've seen a couple of rushed at bats. First time with 2 outs, that was not necessarily a bad at bat in the first inning, but this was a bad at bat here in the third.
Two and one for Kepler. Polanco, all 4 of his outs last night were fly ball outs. And that 1 for 5 with a run scored. Now Gonzalez funnels in strike 2. Max Kepler, who was a young, precocious, talented tennis player in Germany growing up, fell in love with baseball in high school. as Rosario was creeping down the line at third, and if that ball got away, he was going to score easily.
Yeah, that really is not a great technique, what you're looking for, because if you're going to start coming down the line, that means you have to be stationary when the ball is on the way to the plate. Last thing you want to do is lose your momentum. The best lead is one where you start to walk away and you come down toward the plate with the pitch.
Is that in your vision as a pitcher?
I think base runners believe they can distract you by doing what Rosario is doing, but it doesn't distract you at all. It really is not the greatest technique.
Strike three. Gonzalez lights up the zone and freezes Kepler. Nicely done by Miguel to get around a leadoff double. Still 2-1 Sox.
For it to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
66 degrees at game time.
It's pretty amazing. The summer has just been absolutely beautiful in the Midwest. I mean, the temperatures have not been overwhelming most of the time.
Can you remember even a prolonged homestand where we had truly hot temperatures?
I think a couple of months ago, but that's about it.
Yeah, nothing after June. Ball and a strike on Saladino, who singled to center in the second inning, part of a 2-run inning. Rob Brantley an RBI single, Adam Engel an RBI double. Saladino is 2 for 2. And Granite throws it in, keeping Tyler over at first as we give you your Sox math question for today. Hashtag Sox math on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize. Bartolo Colon's seasons with the Sox multiplied by the number of years he's pitched in the majors. Add the number of letters in the last name of the U.S. president the day Colon made his MLB debut, and then subtract the number of games the Sox have left with the Twins after today. There's your question. Hashtag SoxMath on Twitter.
Was that President Buchanan?
I would have won some money on whether or not you would have said something about a very old president. Here's a bunt by Alan Hansen, and he is safe. Escobar could not find the ears on it, and 2 on with nobody out for the Sox for the second straight inning.
Well, we've seen Allen with a couple of bunting base hits in this series, and here's a good one. He caught Escobar back at third. By the time he did come get it, he realized with the speed of Hansen, he's got to drastically speed up what he's doing, and it cost him the handle. So for the second time in as many innings, Sox have first and second, nobody out. Last inning, Colon was able to get through it. see how the offense fares against them here, trying to put a little more daylight between themselves and these Twins.
Could be a bunt spot for Engel, and it is, and it's strike one. Corners were crashing on the pitch.
Adam's been a good butter this year. He's got 5 sacrifices. That's second on the team behind Yolmer. Yolmer has 7. And usually what happens in this situation is Escobar, the third baseman, is looking into the dugout. He's going to get a set of signs from whomever, in this case probably Paul Molitor, being a wonderful major league infielder. So he gets the signs from Molitor. He turns around, gives the infield the signs, but not leaving anything to chance. They almost without exception tell the pitcher verbally the defensive setup and what they want to use.
0-2.
We've seen Rick, with the better bunters around, not take the bunt off with 2 strikes. Could very well be this is one of those situations, although Adam did double to right field in the second.
0-2. He takes strike 3.
All 3 pitches essentially the same spot, and whatever Adam was looking for, it was not a strike. Colon with pinpoint control, good movement, fills up the glove of Jimenez and gets the out.
Well, clearly that spot ended up being a blind spot for Adam in that situation. First pitch here popped up by Garcia. Escobar at third, 2 down. Join us at Guaranteed Rate Field as the Sox take on the Rays Saturday, September 2nd. First 20,000 fans get one of these, a Mark Burley bobblehead presented by Toyota. Visit whitesox.com to purchase your tickets today, or you can call 866-SOX-GAME.
This is kind of typical Bartolo Colon. He only trails 2-1 in this game, despite the fact he's given up 8 hits in the last 2 2/3 innings. Normally that spells disaster, but for a veteran pitcher, he can wend his way out of tough situations, as he's trying to do again here.
Yolmer is his opposition now, and he takes strike 1.
He's scattered 8 hits in 3 2/3. No walks is the key.
And now he's ahead of Sanchez, 0-2. I mean, it is it's interesting to watch, because we saw Barrios yesterday and you say, oh my goodness, what a breaking ball and what stuff, and he's electric. And then Colon essentially just says, here, hit it.
Well, at his age and his history in this game, there was a time when his arm was far superior to anything that Barrios is going to throw. But if you hang around long enough, you better learn the lessons of this league, and Bartolo has learned them well.
One of those is get ahead of the hitters. This is the 10th 0-2 count he's been involved in today.
Well, if you're throwing what he's throwing, which is a fastball in the high to mid 80s and not much of a breaking ball at all, and a straight change you don't use very much, you better be able to pinpoint that fastball, and Colon's able to do that.
No balls, 2 strikes. Saladino at second, Hansen at first. And Yolmer lays off.
I know the Sox certainly wanted to retain the services of Bartolo Colon when his free agency came up.
Which time?
Well, the one time that he was a Sox player, and the Angels at the time tacked another year onto the contract, very similar to the Torrey Hunter situation. where the Sox thought they had him.
Sanchez to right field. Saladino's around third. Kepler bids for the plate. He's late, and the Sox are back on the board. Yolmer with a nice at bat, stroking the RBI single to right.
45 driven in by Yolmer, and that's a big at bat because if Colon gets off the hook this time, takes a lot of air out of the Sox balloon, but this time he stays right down, takes it through the right side. And Tyler Saladino with 2 outs. Nick Capra decides to challenge Kepler. Kepler makes a good throw, but it's a little late.
So now it's up to Avi Garcia to try and bust this thing open in the series finale. 0-1 to Avi, who struck out on 3 pitches in the first, then singled to center in the third.
Bartolo, because he is around the plate quite a bit, will give up the long ball. He's given up 22 of them, evenly divided between Atlanta and the Twins.
His career high in home runs was 38 back in 04, that year in Anaheim, right after he was with the Sox, and just before his All-Star season of 05.
Take a look at Avi, needing 1 more hit against the Twins to tie Melky for most hits against the Twins in a season.
No balls, 2 strikes. Leads to the strikeout. Colon gives up a run, though. Yolmer gets it with 2 down, and the Sox are on the board again, 3-1.
Podcast brought to you by Wintrust. Has been 6 weeks since the Quintana deal. Did the White Sox receive a Mercedes-type return? Let's see what David Kaplan has to say about it. Plus, discussing Lucas Giolito's first Major League victory and Alec Hansen's Double-A debut. Subscribe today, the Sox Podcast.
What's Cap doing on the White Sox Talk podcast?
Boy, they must have had to sedate him.
Has he been dealt as well?
Not yet, but we have plenty of time before the trade deadline. I couldn't see anybody claiming him on waivers. That would be ridiculous.
Too big of a contract?
Much too big.
Bad clubhouse guy?
Too many years. Terrible clubhouse guy.
Low on the upside?
Well, I'm not sure how much the future is left, but
one of us is going to get a nasty text message, and maybe both of us after this lovely bottom of the fourth. Gonzalez 2-2 for Escobar, who tripled and scored in the second. A near home run for Escobar. Just off the top of the wall in right center field. Two and two. High into the air and right again. Avi Garcia trots in and makes the catch for out number one. Miguel Gonzalez has seen the class of both leagues in his return from the disabled list. Look at this murderer's row. 2 starts against the Dodgers, Cubs, Indians, Red Sox, Astros. That's 5 of the 6 first place teams he's seen.
And in those 8 starts, the ERA under 3. So things have moved along very nicely since coming off the DL. And today, no exception. He's had very good control again.
Considering that run, not that we'd like Miguel Gonzalez to go anywhere. He's a very good teammate. He's pitched extremely well. He's a gentleman, but it is a little interesting that we're an hour and a half before the waiver trade deadline and the postseason roster deadline of guys that you need to have on your roster by September 1st to get them into the postseason roster hopper. It's kind of surprising that nobody put out a bid for him as this ball is hit by Vargas to right. And Garcia for out number 2. What say you on that?
Well, really, we really don't know what the Sox have been offered. I would assume that there have been a few guys inquiring about the availability of Miguel, and as we know, for the right deal, and Rick has said this, Rick Hahn, many times, for the right deal, everybody's available. Just let's talk about it. Give me a call and see what happens. So far, nothing has piqued the interest of the Sox as it pertains to Miguel. But when I evaluate, you know, with a team that's going after the playoffs, they probably have a good solid 3 or perhaps even 4. But with Miguel, you'd have to say he's better than just about every team's 5 and many teams' 4. So there is value there, and he's been terrific. As you can see, the pitching totals, a .500 pitcher with an ERA of 3.88. By today's standards, that's pretty good.
I was going to say a career 3.88
yeah,
nowadays will get you some attention. Bartolo Colon career has a 4.02 by contrast.
8 balls have been hit in the air against Gonzalez today, which is somewhat unusual.
Two-one. That's low. 3 balls and a strike on Jimenez, who is the only walk today for the Twins. Downstairs, ball 4, second walk for Jimenez today, and so Granite, who's got the only RBI, comes up here in the 4th. So 1 on 2 out for Granite, and Ricky Renteria making good use of the sunglasses today for day baseball. Ball 1. Here's your Sox math answer. Colon 2 times with the Sox, times 20 years, 40 plus 7 in Clinton. Clinton was the president when Bartolo Colon made his debut, and no more games for the Twins. 47 your answer. The Sox guy is your winner today. There was an internal announcement here in the press box about Byron Buxton, who is available for the Twins on the bench today.
Yeah, that's somewhat surprising. I don't know if they'd like to use him again, but they're thinking about defense. You can certainly do that.
The presumption is that the MRI looked better than expected, if that's actually the case.
Or you don't want the opposition to know that he is not available. And there is Buxton in the background.
To shortstop, Saladino for out number 3. Jimenez stranded, 3-1 Sox. Sunday, September 10th, to celebrate Grandparents' Day. Join us as the Sox take on the Giants. It's 1:10 p.m. the start time. Family Sunday, presented by Coca-Cola, with lower level tickets as low as $15 and parking only $10. Visit whitesox.com to get your tickets today. Matt Davidson, first to foul away a pitch from Bartolo Colon for strike 1.
Infield, playing him as a dead pull hitter. The outfield is absolutely straight away. And there you see the defense with Dozier on the third base side of second.
Matt hit a missile in the second inning, a double to left that eventually turned into the game's first run on the RBI single from Rob Brantley. The 0-2 counts continue to pile up for Bartolo Colon. This is number 12 this afternoon. On the ground at third, Escobar charging across the diamond for out number 1. Do you need any trinkets or gizmos that you care to purchase while blindfolded? If so, head to Kampka's Swap Meet. See what Chris has for us today. Who you choosing?
Well, let's see the records. A little better on the right. The ERA just a touch worse on the left. Touch better on the left, rather. Innings, well, very similar. Hits, strikeouts.
Left or right?
I'll take, well, I should take left, but I'll take the right guy.
I'm excited about the guy on the left. I think I got the better deal there.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, that remains to be seen. See how he progresses through his career.
I think it might be over. just guessing again. We don't know what we're buying here.
You seemingly know, though, so I think within all of those electronic gizmos that you have there, which I'm not sure how you keep the batteries when you go on the road, but you'd have to look up that.
I don't have that many more gizmos than you do. You have 2 pieces of electronics. I have 3. It's called a computer. This big old light box on my left.
That's it. Okay, so you have the left and I have the right today.
Yeah. Escobar tested again. He's on this ground ball, takes his time, gets the out. Smith retired. All right, so let's see what we got in the shopping bag today.
I'm very happy with mine already.
You are?
Yeah.
You guys gave up more hits, struck out fewer guys.
Right. But he won a lot of games. You're talking about 16 over 500.
My guys got the better numbers, though. Oh. Huh.
That's after his 40th. Well, that's not fair. I mean, take a look at some of the early numbers. My guy is, no offense, and I love Miguel. I love him like a son, so to speak. But
he's a son to you?
Yeah, very similar to that. If I had an older son. But I think I got the best of that one.
After his 40th birthday.
I know.
That's wild.
Those are some numbers after 40.
You got really old Bartolo in a shopping bag. Congratulations.
Thank you. Hard to get through customs, but other than that, it's okay.
There they are. The 2 dueling right-handers today. Brantley down the line and just foul. That would have been a hit considering the shift.
I talked with Rob and he was absolutely ecstatic to be back with the White Sox. He said he was very comfortable here the first time, and getting an opportunity to come back was something that, when you return to a team where you had good positive vibes, being with that club, it's really nice to come back, and Rob Brantley was able to do that. I know I was able to do it with the White Sox. Came here in '73 and then again in '77, '78. It was just a nice feeling to be back to a place where I really enjoyed just about everything that went into that first year. And so when I came back, it was nice. It was a whole different group. The ownership had changed. General managers, obviously front office had changed, but it was nice to come back, and I know that's what Rob Brantley is feeling this second trip around with the Sox.
First time in the majors in the last 2 seasons. It's got to be nice just knowing the ballpark that you play at most frequently.
Right, because when you're moved or traded or you go to a different team, everything is new. You're having to go into a neighborhood. Many times you rent something and you don't know how to get to the park. I mean, the things you don't know dwarf the things you do know. And it takes you a while to feel comfortable, but when you've been to a city already and enjoyed your time there, it's nice to come back. And you also had to have been a pretty decent teammate, or the teams would never bring you back.
Right. Yeah, you're a bad guy. They're not seeking you out. They'll find a different version of you.
You're not coming back.
3-2. Strike 3 called. Colon with his 7th strikeout today and his second 1-2-3 inning. Steve on a daily basis.
Which is, you know, a very difficult thing to do. But I love when teams make that pronouncement. We're going to err on the side of caution. Have you ever heard, we're going to throw caution to the wind and we're going to run him out even if it cost him his career? We don't care. We're going to put him out there. And there you see Lucas Giolito with some bubble gum on his hat, which breaks everybody up in the dugout.
We will follow along with the bubblegum hat. I have a feeling, based on the wry smile on the face of Carlos Rodon,
it was rather wry.
Yeah, he's the culprit. Well, Jerry Sands had the one at the beginning of the year last year that was innings long that Alex Avila put there. There's no awareness of the bubble.
That should be there for a bit until it runs out of helium.
Looks like it's getting a little rumpled early.
Sounds like a Columbo reference.
That bubble is losing steam quickly. The old prune bubble gum. One and two. Gonzalez misses inside. Lucas Giolito, a very highly aware young man, very intelligent, but no matter what level of book smart you are, the bubblegum bubble on your hat can sneak up and get you.
Still a rookie.
What is truly amazing is the absolute joy that the person placing it there derives from the bubble on the hat. And now he's on it.
Look at that. You got me. Oh, you little pesky Carlos. How about that? See, it's a thrill a minute.
That's what I'm saying. There's no happier moment for a player in a dugout than when they get somebody else with the bubblegum bubble on the hat. There have been birthdays that are less joyful for Carlos Rodon, I'm sure.
There was one of the things, and I will tell you, is the resolution of this at bat, but one of the better moments
of all time.
No,
I can't wait. Up the middle, base hit. Dozier into space in right center field. He's gunning it for two. Avi fading away, and Dozier saw it all the way that ball was into a wide expanse of grass.
Dozier does a nice job of beating the shift by waiting back on a soft breaking ball and taking it through the right side, and then with the defense the way it was and the play right in front of him, a heads up Dozier goes head first into second base, so he shortens his swing, takes it into right field. He's thinking two when this ball went through the infield, making it easily at second base. And in a two-run ball game, that is a big leadoff double,
especially with Rosario and Mauer coming up. If Rosario can get him over, Mauer is very adept at getting him in.
And as Rosario has added some power to his stroke, he's hitting more fly balls also. He was not happy with the first call, but the first pitch was right there. It was above knee high and had the whole plate.
Oh, and 2 from Gonzalez to Rosario. Nice job by Kevin Smith to block that ball. Dozier was thinking about going to third.
Tyler in a conversation with Brian Dozier. Rosario, at the very least, thinking about pulling the ball.
Nope. Strike 3.
Not a very good at bat as he fails to move Dozier. Big strikeout for Miguel. Good movement. And he gets it.
With Mauer up and a runner at third and 1 out, it's free money the way he handles the bat, you would imagine.
Normally, especially in a couple of at bats he had today. So he's seeing Miguel pretty well today. And if Dozier's at third base, yeah, it would be a much easier at bat for Joe.
There's no guarantee, certainly, but he's a career 300+ hitter. Of the Twins, he is one of the most likely to put the ball where he wants it.
And yet he only has 2 sacrifice flies this year. That's a fairly low total as we get ready to head into September.
On the ground, right side. Hansen is over, and Hansen does make the play. Mauer is out. Dozier to third with 2 down.
Mauer looked like his footwork went askew at the bag. That was kind of an interesting way to approach this. Kind of surprised they got him, but we'll take another look at it. He pulls the ball. Hansen has a long way to go for this. And Joe got really lucky because Joe went down hard with his left foot. Looked like it was on the outside of the bag, although he caught a corner. When you do that, real easy for your foot to slip off. You turn an ankle, you wind up with a sprained ankle or maybe a break. And Joe Mauer caught a break there because he comes away without an injury. That's a very dangerous scenario.
He looked like he thought he was going to catch a lot more of the bag than he did. He's out. Dozier at third. Polanco the batter. Jorge Polanco 2 pop outs today, and he takes ball 1 low. '24-year-old shortstop Polanco with 7 of his 9 home runs against the Sox this year. He takes a called strike. Sox will go home to take on the Rays starting tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Reynaldo Lopez tomorrow, Carlos Rodon Saturday, Lucas Giolito Sunday.
When you take a look at the threesome that's going in that series, you can take a look a few years down the road and you add a guy or 2 to that mix. You never know for sure who's going to take that next step from the minor leagues and who's not, but those are 3 good young pitchers and they represent a good portion of the future for the Sox.
Into right field, Garcia can't get there. He does knock it down. The Twins are back on the board, and Polanco is safe at second base.
Just like the Yolmer at bat for the Sox, the Polanco double was a very big hit for the Twins, because if they come away empty after a leadoff double, it's not going to be a good inning for them. But Polanco goes upstairs, hits a sinking line drive to right field. Avi has some problems with it as he gets trapped too close to the ball, but it is a 2-base hit. It is the 55th driven in by Polanco, who continues to terrorize Sox pitchers.
Polanco now with 14 driven in this year against the Sox out of 55. So not only is the home run number booming, but he's also got a good chunk of his runs driven in against the Sox this year. One strike on Kepler. Left center field, long run for Engel. Adam lays out and can't get there. The Twins have tied the game on the RBI double from Max Kepler in the 5th.
That's 60 driven in for Kepler. Nice effort by Adam Engel in left center field, but despite a valiant attempt, he comes up short. He takes a full-out dive trying to make this play, and it's a fastball belt high, a little higher than Miguel would have wanted. Engel, after the long run, lays out but can't get to it, and that brings Kurt Hassler out from the dugout. And if you haven't heard, Kurt has been the pitching coach for the entire series. Is Don Cooper a little under the weather, but we're expecting Coop to rejoin us tomorrow in Chicago. In the meantime, Hassler to the mound, and the meeting is broken up. So the leadoff double, even with the 2 outs that came after, cashed in with the doubles by Polanco and Kepler.
And 6 extra base hits today, including the 3 in this inning you documented. 5 doubles and a triple for Minnesota. Not a big home run hitting club. They're just tied for 17th in homers in Major League Baseball. But they've worn out the doubles column today.
Well, if you take a look at the missing Twins, it's a lot of home runs on the shelf. You take Sano with his 28 and Buxton with his 13. 41 missing, and you can't really replace them by whoever you put in there.
They've tried with Vargas, who's physically as close to a carbon copy of Sano as you're going to get, but it's not the same type of power or potential.
No. And Vargas will give you some quality at bats left-handed, not necessarily from the right side, but he doesn't put that fear in you that Sano does.
That one nearly grazed the jersey of Escobar, so 2-1. And Sano, as you were talking about, his 10 days could be up, but he's not close to being activated right now for the Twins.
He's a gigantic man, and when you have some leg issues and you're as big as he is, you can't take the strain off that leg all that much, and they feel he's going to be lost for a while.
Well, the good news for the Twins on Buxton is that the Star Tribune has reported in game, as we told you about, Buxton's available, and the Minnesota beat folks are saying that it's a bone bruise rather than a break.
That is a great break for them. Not only was he having an offensive renaissance, the best period of his career by far, but the defense he provides for this team on a daily basis is something you can't replace. Even with good center fielders, they are not the equal of Buxton.
He's taking it in today with a day off. 2-2. Poked foul by Escobar. Sox took the lead in the top of the 2nd inning with a 2-run inning. Brantley scoring Davidson, Engel scoring Brantley, and the Twins got back on the board in this series with a run in the 2nd. Zach Granite scoring Escobar. Sox got a run in the 4th. Now the Twins with 2 in the 3rd to level the game. Oh, 2 in the 5th. This is the 5th inning, not the 3rd. To tie the game at 3, and there is strike 3. Knew there was a 3 in there somewhere. 3-3 your score after 5 today.
And we've got some good news. That looks like it's going to be a home run. That's Matt Rose hitting a home run. And there you see 33 games, hitting .263, 11 doubles, 23 driven in. That part of it's very good. And he came over and Jose Quintana deal.
Batting average better with Winston-Salem than it was with Myrtle Beach. .263 compared to the .227 he hit with the Advanced Eight Pelicans. How about poor Myrtle Beach, by the way? All they're doing is trying to win a Carolina League championship. They want the Mills Cup very badly, and the Cubs say, well, it's been a great season, but we're taking Jimenez and we're taking Rose and we are trading them to one of your rivals. So good luck. Thanks for playing.
That happens a lot, and we're hearing some rumors, and again, this is just a rumor at the time, but Justin Upton rumored, if all things are equal, going to the Angels. That would be a huge deal for them. That's the first time that Tyler Saladino has gone down quietly, as Colon gets him looking.
The MLB.com folks have that story now with the Angels having a deal in place, and also Cameron Maybin slated to go to the Angels as well. To the Astros from the Angels. Flip that and reverse it. 1-1 to Hansen.
Well, the Angels, who are sitting there like a few other teams with postseason dreams, if they do in fact complete this deal, that's going to give them a lot of thunder in that offense.
Alan Hansen to right field, a base hit with one out here in the sixth. Let's take a look at what's going on with AAA Charlotte, very close to the end of their season. The Knights get the win 4-1. Casey Gillespie with home run number 14, and Chris Volstad 7 innings of no earned run ball. So Adam Engel with Hansen at first. Colon had retired 5 straight before the Hansen base hit. A couple of times in this game, Bartolo's thrown twice to first without a pitch in between.
He's trying to shorten up the lead in a situation that would dictate the Sox would be running. Good lead at first by Hansen. Bartolo does get rid of it very quickly, however, as he uses a slide step and the pen up and going. Alan Busenitz.
Another throw to first. Hansen just got the hand in. Look out, Allen, says the first base umpire Brian Onora. I'd like to clean that, thank you.
He came very close on the last throw to first to be picked off.
Another throw and the tag late with the one hop and the ball out of the glove of Vargas.
That time Colon did get a break as that one got away, but didn't get away very far.
"90 pitches for Bartolo Colon. Ten hits allowed, no walks, 8 strikeouts. Hansen runs. Engel floats it into right center field, and it's playable for Granite. Hansen is back. 2 down.
Good time to break out the hit and run. Unfortunately, the ball was popped up.
Two out for Garcia, who's 0 for 12 in this series. Good time for a first hit.
He's had a hard time laying off high fastballs in this series especially.
Another throw to first. Bartolo Colon, by the way, his next act in a Minnesota jersey or shirt will be a visit to the Minnesota State Fair on Saturday. He's going to be in the Twins booth at the Minnesota State Fair. There's a dunk tank at the fair, which I'd pay good money to see Bartolo Colon in a dunk tank. Wouldn't you? There's also evidently a cow milking contest, but I think I'd select dunk tank before that.
Yeah, I might have a tendency to aggravate some of the cows with my lack of milking experience.
Lack of finesse.
Yeah. Well, you need some finesse if that's going to be your avocation.
Well, you don't need it, but the cows do. Hansen's off, delayed steal, and a little too delayed. He's out.
Well, Allen thinks that he was safe, and they might take a look at it. It was a delayed steal. And the delayed steal, and we will play on as Hansen is out at second.
Still 3-3, bottom 6 next.
Lights presented by Wintrust. Enjoy all the thrilling highlights, matchups, and post-game interviews. That's tomorrow at 11 p.m. on CSN or stream live at csnchicago.com/watchlive.
So the caught stealing ends the top of the 6th, and the Sox, with 10 hits against Bartolo Colon, have a 3-3 tie on their hands as Vargas takes ball 1 from Miguel Gonzalez. 4 straight starts, at least 6 innings for Miguel. 2 of those 8-inning starts.
Pen is up and going as Miguel gets closer to the 100 pitch mark. Bummer and Infante.
There's one guy you would circle in the lineup to face a left-hander. It would be Kepler. If there were a second guy, it would be this one, Vargas.
Kepler's hitting in the 130s against left-handers, and Vargas much better. Much better from the left side than the right.
It's really interesting about Kepler. A couple years ago when he was in Double-A in 2015, he hit .318 against lefties. Last year he was .203 compared to .248, but it's been a significant drop off this year. Two and two. There is strike 3. Gonzalez with his 5th punch out of a Twins player as we quiz Steve on his own career. It's Sticks and Stone time. And here's your question for today, partner. Last batter you faced in your final start against Minnesota.
I'll say Sal Butera.
You sound confident. Is that a ruse?
No, I'm taking the middle one.
Drew's dad.
Yes. Sal was a pretty good scout. The later portions of his front office career.
Drew started in the Twins organization before getting most of his time with Kansas City now as Salvador Perez is back up. Gonzalez at 101 pitch count. To third base and a backhand from Sanchez. Yolmer showing off the arm for out number 2. Let's see who the answer is for Steve. Is it letter B, Sal Butera? It is.
How about that?
Congratulations.
Thank you. The last Sticks and Stone against the Twins this year. Nice to have the occasional victory every now and then.
It is. It boosts your confidence.
Heading into next season against the Twins.
Have to do some scouting in the offseason. Strike 1 to Granite. 24-year-old outfielder in for Buxton today.
He's been up twice, hit the ball hard twice. 1 for 2 with a run driven in to show for it.
Twisted foul, 0-2 on Granite. And this is a game that the Twins would really like to have, considering how the schedule stacks up. This is one of the few games remaining against a team that's not in the playoff hunt. Sox would certainly love to stand in the way of that with a late victory on getaway day today.
The Twins know that that last road trip for them is going to be very difficult, and they realize it's a precarious lead they have in the race to the postseason, especially if the Angels pull off that deal. And as hot as the Orioles have been, this is going to be a really interesting race. That last road trip, the Yankees, the Tigers, and the Indians.
Tigers, if this news story is true about Upton going to the Angels, Tigers will be a little bit more depleted than last the Twins saw them. Two and two for Granite. Miguel Gonzalez, whose pitch count the last 4 starts has gone over 100, so now 5 in a row. And 8 out of 9 since coming back from the DL. How about that? You come off the disabled list and you go 8 out of 9 starts over 100 pitches.
There you look at the numbers. He have not been up to his standards lately, but still good enough against a fine offensive team that these Twins happen to be.
Minnesota number 10 in baseball in on-base percentage, and part of the reason is they walk as much as just about anybody in the league. Top 5 in walks this year. Only 2 today against Gonzalez. In the air, right field. Avisail Garcia, and Miguel Gonzalez completes a 1-2-3 inning. It's his first of the afternoon. He's got the Sox in a deadlock at 3.
And Alan Busenitz taking over on for the 17th time. He's been very good. 1-0, 1.69 ERA. And there you look at the numbers, and can't get any more consistent than a 192 and a 191 batting average between left and right handers. So he will have to deal with the top of the order here in the top of the 7th in this tie game.
You get what you get from Busenitz. It's either fastball or curveball. 71% fastball, 28% curveball, and that leaves 0.6% of a changeup for Busenitz as Kurt Hassler is on the telly to the Sox bullpen. Don Cooper out a little bit under the weather for the series, so he did not make the trip. He's likely to rejoin the team tomorrow.
So Bartolo went the 6 innings, and the big factor, he didn't walk anybody, which if you're going to give up 10 hits is probably a good thing to do, as he gets a no decision.
And there's a breaking ball to start Garcia. About a quarter of the time you'll see the curveball, and the rest fastballs. Or 2 straight curveballs.
We talked about Bartolo Colon and his liberal use of the fastball. 92 pitches total, 83 fastballs this afternoon. It was kind of interesting, and I think for Zach Granite that might be something he doesn't want to do in the future. Just for the pitch, he actually sprinted to his right about 10 steps, which would lead a hitter to believe that fastballs would be forthcoming after 2 curveballs. The center fielder tipped it off, but it did not help Leary in that situation. He goes down swinging for the 3rd time, 4th time overall.
You're saying you'd like a little bit more subtle of a move if you're the pitcher?
Yeah, otherwise, especially after 2 curveballs, the hitter could pretty much take it to the bank that you're moving to your right into left center because he's going to stay away with the fastball, which he did twice.
One out for Sanchez. And there's strike 1 from Buznitz. Opponents are hitting 196 against his fastball, 191 against his curveball, and nobody in his career has a hit off the changeup, which he's only thrown a couple of times.
He's got a good arm. There's no doubt about that. As he's rushing it up there, 96.
'27-year-old out of Kennesaw State. It's a fly ball here to Rosario. 2 down in the 7th. The White Sox September ballpark pass is available now, and for just $60 you can attend all 17 games in September with tickets delivered digitally to your smartphone. Visit whitesox.com/pass for more information or to order yours today. You don't need more info. Just order right
That's
now.
it.
A lot of playoff teams coming in.
And a tremendous deal.
Garcia, a swing and a miss.
Buznitz originally drafted by the Angels in the 25th round in 2013.
He was in the Hector Santiago deal last year.
We can understand why the Twins would have been enamored with his arm. It's a good one.
Two strikes. Avi spoils it foul. Sox have never trailed in this game today. After taking a 2-0 lead in the 2nd, Twins got 1 in the 2nd. Sox got 1 in the 4th. Twins picked up 2 in the 5th, and here we are. Up the middle, the shift was on. And the inning is over. Dozier left of the bag. And Avi Garcia grounds into it. Stretch time in Minneapolis.
Gonzalez's day is done, and he gets a no decision along with his mound opponent Bartolo Colon, and he gives way to Gregory Infante. But before that, 5 strikeouts today, just a couple of walks, 7 hits in 6 innings, and Miguel battled against a red-hot offensive team and battled his mound opponent to a standstill. And there's a look at Gregory on for the 39th time. ERA coming down recently at 3.67 and a 1-1 record.
Infante will face the top of the order, Brian Dozier, and he gets strike 1 at 95.
There's Kurt Hassler to the left of Ricky Renteria. .110 pitches for Miguel this afternoon. He continued his red-hot pitching since coming off the DL.
Against, again, very good teams. He's not faced many teams that are in last place. Dozier in the air to right field. Garcia back at the warning track. Avi makes the play.
Avi does a nice job of timing as he went back to the wall right at the 365 mark and hauled it in. Dozier gives it a ride. Doesn't go quite far enough. So Gregory with his afternoon done, giving way to Aaron Bummer. And as he trots in, we'll step out. Be back after these messages. Time now for a Hyundai call to the pen, and it is Aaron Bummer. 1-3 ERA of 7.71 on for the 16th time. There you look at the numbers. He inherits the bases clean in a tie ball game here in the 7th inning with 1 out.
Well, you've got back-to-back left-handers coming up. Rosario, who hits .290 against lefties, .292 against righties, but the slugging percentage is more than 100 points better versus right-handers, so the power diminishes with Bummer on the mound facing Rosario. He didn't like that one very much.
Backed out of the way of a fastball right down the middle.
Sometimes hitters will do that to bait you a little bit.
Yeah.
Rosario floats it out there, and Saladino, twisting with it, makes the catch for round number 2. RBI Baseball 2017 is out now for Xbox One, PS4, iOS, and Android. Enjoy fast-paced pick-up and play MLB action packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and a lot more. Your breakout MLB season is here. You better come ready to play. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Now, Mauer career is about 30 points better against right-handers as well. Slugging percentage about 100 points better against right-handers too. So this is a good spot for Bummer in the lineup. Way behind, 0-2.
Danny Farquhar listening in the pen.
Haven't seen Danny for a couple of days. It's been a long time since Danny Farquhar got into a game. That Minnesota series finale back at home back on Thursday. Garcia in left makes the catch on Mauer, and a 1-2-3 inning for the combo of Infante and Bummer. To the 8th we go in a tie ball game.
Trophy loan now at ecliclending.com. eClick is located in Chicagoland, rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. Boom. Your mortgage just happened.
Sox and Twins tied at 3 in the 8th inning today from Target Field in lovely Minneapolis. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. Our entire crew thanks you for joining us. And today in White Sox history, by the way, back in 1935, Vern Kennedy, a rookie that season, threw a no-hitter against Cleveland for the White Sox. First no-hitter at Comiskey Park.
Seems like just yesterday.
For some of us. Matt Davidson on the ground. And Polanco at shortstop throws him out, 1 away. Sox have 2 of the 11 rookie no-hitters all time in American League history, with Wilson Alvarez having the other one in his first Sox start but second career start. Vida Blue had a no-hitter in his rookie year. Steve Busby.
Fernando Valenzuela.
Fernando did not.
He did not.
Isn't that surprising?
Well, he was rookie of the year, and did he win the Cy that year?
I want to say he did, but no-hitter. Last rookie no-hitter in the American League was 10 years ago. Clay Buchholz. 10 years ago exactly tomorrow. Oh, and 1 to Kevin Smith, who's now down a pair of strikes. You got to be on your toes at Target Field, by the way. There are some foul balls that make their way into the crowd. The net behind home plate is not as wide as you'll see elsewhere.
No, not hardly.
On the ground, and Kevin Smith with a roller for a hit with one down in the 8th.
He went way up and out of the strike zone trying to protect, and through the vacated right side, he got his first hit of the day. Way up on top. He was shortened up on the bat, so he was able to put a good swing on it, despite the fact it was a good 3-4 inches up and outside the zone.
That's something you see less and less, is the 2-strike approach that Kevin Smith just put on that ball. And he gets paid off for it as Brantley takes a strike. '28-year-old Rob Brantley back with the Sox, up from AAA Charlotte. Some of the injury problems, Delmonico and Moncada on the DL. Brantley getting a chance.
Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Here's our Miller moment, and it came back in the second. After Davidson had doubled, there's a base hit. First run driven in by Rob Brantley.
Smith at first, one down. So tomorrow the rosters expand to 40 men, and we'll see how many call-ups the Sox decide to make. Part of the decision-making process is who do you want to add to your 40-man roster as well, if anybody.
We don't have much time left as far as trades are concerned, so we'll see if anything comes down late, as Duffy and Rogers the left-hander, and Duffy the right-hander.
One and two. A little bit low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alan Buznitz, who had a 1-2-3 7th inning, now finds himself with the lead run at first with 1 out in the 8th. Brantley to left. Rosario's underneath, 2 away. Sox do have Jose Abreu and Tim Anderson on the bench, but our Dan Hayes reporting earlier that Abreu was dealing with a little bit of an elbow injury, and Anderson tweaked a hamstring yesterday, so we'll see if either of them are going to play as possible pinch hitters in this finale. You'd imagine the answer would be no, unless really pressed.
Yeah, I would think it would be no. We'll have to see how the rest of this game goes,
and how long the rest of the game is as well, with a tie game here in the 8th. Nice day for Tyler, 2 for 3.
Had a good day fighting to get that batting average off the interstate, as they say, which is interstate being anything that was in the 100s. Tyler thought that one was not a strike. It actually had a little piece of the plate, however.
1-1 for Buznitz. Everybody in the world saw Jimenez try to move that one back over the plate.
Yeah, that was a bit off the plate.
Polanco, Kepler, and Escobar coming up for the Twins. So the Sox would love to get a 2-out rally going here. Two balls, two strikes on Saladino for Buznitz, the rookie right-hander. Two and two. Swing and a miss, strike three. 10th strikeout for Twins pitching today. And we're still tied at 3 as we go bottom 8. As the deadline is just coming across 15 minutes from now, 3 Central Time, the waiver trade deadline for Major League Baseball, and we'll see exactly what comes of it.
I can see us year 2022, 2023. The Tigers still taking calls on Justin Verlander.
It's a big, long contract.
Taking a lot of calls so far, no action, but we got a few minutes left. And that's a huge deal for the Angels, getting Upton, who's been everything for the Tigers this year. It's Matt Belisle, their closer, who picked up a save a couple of nights ago.
He's warming up in case of, well, he may come in regardless, but with the Twins having the chance at taking the lead, you could see them going there in that case, but also in a tie game top 9. A ball or something has made it to left center field.
Yeah, it was a baseball that found its way out of the bullpen onto the field.
Baseballs have the instinct to travel. Three and one to Polanco.
Big sequence here.
Polanco homered off of Bummer 2 nights ago in the series opener. 3-1. Outside ball 4. Leadoff walk to Polanco, who can run here in the 8th. Hey, Sox fans, you win with Papa John's Pizza all season long. The day after the Sox win, you get 50% off your entire online order of regular menu priced items only at papajohns.com when you use promo code SOXWIN. Valid at participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Now Kepler, who's hit only .131 against lefties, and he stabs a bunt foul.
Well, I was going to tell you that he does not have a sacrifice this year, but that technique speaks for itself. He dropped the head of the bat. When you do that, inevitably the ball is going to be popped up, and that one was popped foul. Kepler was squaring around to bunt again on that throw to first base.
Part of the rationale has got to be that he's just not hit lefties at all this year. Takes a ball high.
Yeah, when you're hitting in the 130s, but you don't want to take him down because of his defense in right field. You have a tendency to try to ask him to do something they haven't done. Not that they're not capable of doing it, but something they haven't done all year.
Well, for Kepler, the feet run in the family rather than the hands. His parents were both ballet dancers. His mom went to Joffrey Ballet School in New York at age 15. And Kepler, according to his mom, always said, "There's no way I'm ever going to do what you and Daddy do." So he turned into a baseball player instead. Third base side, nicely done by Kepler, who is out. On the play by Sanchez. Polanco to second base. And one away in the 8th.
Turned into a very good bunt. There was no chance for Yolmer any place but first, and it was very close at first. So he still drops ahead of the bat, still pops it up, but gets it in the field of play as Yolmer throws him out. And here comes Rick Renteria. So that's going to be it. Aaron Bummer is going to depart. And as he does, we'll step out. Be back after these messages. Our Hyundai call to the pen is Danny Farquhar. So his numbers combined between Tampa Bay and the Sox. On for the 42nd time. 3-2. 10 holds and a .392 ERA. He inherits the go-ahead run at second base.
Target center under construction across the way. Let me clarify something too about the trade deadline we've been talking about. I've gotten some clarification on exactly what the deadline means. The 3 Central time that I had read on MLB.com isn't officially it's 11:59 tonight that the deadline is to get the player on your roster for the postseason. So that's why you would want to make a trade as of today before the clock strikes midnight. So you can make a trade later in the season. That person just can't play for you for the postseason. Here's the official ins and outs of it. One strike on Escobar, who grounds it to the right side. Hansen for round number 2.
Well, now Rick has a decision to make. You got Vargas with first base open, and you got Jimenez coming up next.
Maybe the intentional walk here.
I would think that would be in the cards, but you might as well just, if you're going to do that, you might as well put him on first base. So you can't make a mistake.
Pitch was close to the plate, 1-1.
You do have Adrianza, who is a switch hitter. And he's sitting on the bench. He's a better hitter from the left side.
Farquhar goes after him at 94 to the corner, 1-2. Polanco at third, and time called. There's strike 3. Farquhar blows it by Vargas. And that'll do it. To the 9th. 3-3 tie in the finale as Vargas shattered his bat.
Home to open up their series versus the Rays. Coverage begins at 7 on CSN, or stream the game live on the NBC Sports app or at csnchicago.com.
Kenneth Vargas, strong guy.
Yeah, he was not real happy with the result of this at bat, and it's quite obviously the bat's fault. Yep, it is. So he will walk away with broken bat in hand. Matt Belisle comes into ball game. We saw him for a save opportunity, which he converted. And on for the 53rd time. He's 0-2. His ERA a little above 4.5.
Belisle versus Hansen. And ball number 1. Hansen, a drive to right field. Kepler is back. This ball is gone. Alan Hansen gives the Sox the lead in the 9th.
All Kepler could do was turn around and see how far it would go, and that's just the 3rd home run for Alan Hansen to match his 3 hits for today. He's got 8 driven in. And how about that? Belisle comes in, greeted rather rudely by Alan Hansen. Our 4th home run replay. It's a fastball down, and Hansen takes it out.
And with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. Career home run number 3 for Alan Hansen gives the Sox the lead here in the 9th.
For Matt Belisle, that's the 6th home run he's given up. And one of the biggest problems, and they could not have foreseen it at the time, when they divested themselves of Brandon Kinsler, their closer, they were firmly convinced that they would be dropping out of the race and looking ahead to next year. Hasn't worked out that way, and now they're minus a closer, trying to find somebody late to take over that job. Belisle has been the guy. He doesn't have closer stuff, and the other guys who have better stuff are a lot younger, and they don't trust them quite yet.
Twins run differential was pretty well in the negative when they made those trades, and if you go based on run differential, it seems to be the smarter way to go than just win-loss record, because it considers how you're doing without real reference to each given day and the long haul, and the Twins didn't look like a contender at that point to the front office.
No, and you don't have the benefit of hindsight, because at that time it was a terrible West Coast trip. Cleveland and Kansas City both were very hot, and Kansas City has since really cooled off. Cleveland's still playing good baseball.
Adam Engel takes a walk, and Belisle gives up the home run and a walk. The Sox are trying to work him for more with the top of the order coming up. First walk today for Sox batters.
Yeah, Belisle against the world to this point, although they're starting to stir in the bullpen. And Paul Molitor, when he looks out at that pen, it creates some difficulties for him. Although when you look at the numbers since the departure of Kinsler, the bullpen has actually been pretty good. It's just a question of getting some experience with a guy who can nail it down for you.
Well, the Twins in the bottom of the 9th. Good news for the Sox. Twins have the 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming up. We may see exactly how healthy that hand is for Buxton. He's on the bench and available, they say. Engel started and then slammed on the brakes.
There is the Sox pen, and there is the closer, Juan Minaya. He'll be coming into this unless there's a 5 or 6 run rally.
There's a bunt foul, 0-2. Sox trying to win this series finale against Minnesota. Drop the Twins to just 5 over 500. Kansas City comes in here to take on the Twins tomorrow for a weekend series. Sox will be at home against the Rays, with Lopez, Rodon, and Giolito scheduled to pitch. That is a very interesting choice.
That's 4 strikeouts for Leury in his 0 for 5 day. And now it's up to Yolmer, who had a very big hit in this game. Looked like the Sox were about ready to be turned away for the 2nd straight inning with 1st and 2nd nobody out. It happened in the 3rd. In the 4th, Bartolo Colon was 1 out away after getting Garcia to pop up, but Yolmer drove the ball through the right side. Sox scored another run to add to their lead. Twins later tied it, but courtesy of Allen Hansen, the Sox had the lead late.
3-hit day for Allen. And Yolmer, who we watched during the last homestand, do the meticulous taping up of his bat with what looks like the same tape.
Made the road trip.
Another throw to first on Engel.
Five out of 6 for Adam Engel in the stolen base department. Looks like he's got a pretty decent lead, which he should extend, which he just extended.
He doesn't go, and there's a strike right at the edge to Sanchez. No balls and a strike from Belisle to Sanchez. Oh, 2. Avisail Garcia, who had a hit back in the 3rd, waiting for his chance. Oh, 2. By the way, if you are planning to come to that homestand for the 10 days, the Sox have announced that the proceeds from the White Sox charity Sox Split on September 2nd and 3rd, that's Saturday and Sunday, will support Harvey relief efforts conducted by the American Red Cross. So if you want to help, you can come to the game and be involved in the White Sox charity Sox Split. Also, you can go to youcaring.com/MLB supports, with all donations and proceeds there benefiting the American Red Cross. One, 2. Engel runs. There's strike 3, and Jimenez couldn't find the reins on the ball, so Engel steals a bag. And here's the upcoming schedule. Sox will play the Rays for those 3 games we were telling you about, then 4 against Cleveland. 3 on the back end against the Giants as well. Avi gets the free pass, and so the Twins will take their crack at Davidson instead. Matt Davidson with his first hit of the series in the 2nd inning. That was against Bartolo Colon, who the Sox touched up for 10 hits today. Down the line and foul from Davidson. And here comes Jimenez to talk to his pitcher Belisle. '66-degree day here in Minneapolis as the Sox play this 3-game road trip, and then the long road trip after the homestand, which will take the Sox to Kansas City, Detroit, and Houston. Pack light, or take your really large bag, Steve. It's a long road trip at the end of the season is what I'm saying.
Yep.
That is
it is that.
Oh, 0-2 on Davidson. Garcia at first. Engel at second.
Belisle is doing the modified Papelbon as far as looking away and then snapping his head at the hitter to get the sign. There is the difference in his game. Alan Hansen setting up what to this point will be a save opportunity.
One and two. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the Sox got those long road trips, it seemed like, out of the way early in the year, but
we had 5 and got 4 right away. And then, you know, we've talked about this particular schedule being an ideal schedule. If the Sox were in contention, this would be a schedule that you'd want. Get all of or most of your long road trips out of the way early when the team is still strong, and save the home games for later on.
Strike 3, inning over. Belisle strikes out the side, but Alan Hansen got to him first. Deep to right field. The Sox have taken the lead late. See if Manaea can close it out after this.
to nail down his 4th save of the year. On for the 30th time. He's 2-1. He's 3 for 3 in save opportunities. With an ERA of 4.24, says he relishes the role of the closer, getting an opportunity to do it now on a regular basis. He'll deal with the bottom part of the order, and Paul Molitor deciding to change things around a bit. And A-Ray Adrianza to lead it off.
So Adrianza pinch hits for Jimenez. Chris Jimenez with a G. 0 for 1 with 2 walks today.
The only 2 that Miguel Gonzalez walked.
And ball 1 to Adrianza. There's a strike threaded through to the inside corner. 1-1. Two balls, 1 strike on Adrianza. We told you about how dangerous the Twins' bottom of the order was yesterday. Adrianza fouls it off on the ground. 2-2.
It was a very busy night last night for A-Ray with his 2 triples, 4 driven in, and 2 scored amongst his 3 hits.
Two. Adrianza to right field. He can run. Avi gets there quickly, and Adrianza slams on the brakes. And smart play, because Avi Garcia not only got there pretty quickly, but he threw a dagger to second base.
You're the potential tying run. The last thing you want to do is get taken down, as this slider stays right in the middle of the plate. Adrianza hits the daylights out of it. Avi does a nice job of getting to it quickly and making sure that he stays at first.
Now Granite, the rookie, with a bunt certainly in play here. See what the Twins decide to do. Granite has hit the ball well today.
8 out of 9 in stolen bases for Adrianza at first base, and a big lead. What a real interesting play is if in fact they go through with the sacrifice. Nobody's going to be covering third base if in fact it's bunted to Yolmer. So that's when normally Kevin Smith will have to hustle down there.
One ball, no strikes. Granite takes outside. 2 balls, no strikes, and you wonder if he'll just make Minaya throw him a strike. Brian Dozier, a very dangerous right-handed hitter, standing on deck. 2-0. Strike called. That was a huge pitch.
Very close. And Ben Wolcott says it was on the corner.
2-1. Granite pops it up. And that is a thank you card from the White Sox. 1 out.
Drops ahead of the bat. You saw it drastically there. When you do that, you pop it up. Kevin with a nice play. And that's going to get you a pop-up each and every time. That a big first out. Now you have to worry about the stolen base.
Brian Dozier with Adrianza at first. Takes in the dirt.
Nice pick by Kevin Smith. That could turn out to be a game saver if the Sox go on to nail it down. That was an easy one to see get away, and Adrianza wind up at second. So we have a meeting at the mound.
Yeah, the Sox have got to be pleased with the decision to have Granite bunt even on 2-1. I mean, Minaya was out of the zone 3 straight times. Even though one was called a strike, you give a pitcher that first out and his confidence grows. You see it happen quite often.
We'll have to hope so.
Want to know on Dozier. 2 balls, no strikes. Left-hander Rosario and the left-hander Mauer waiting in the wings.
And now you got Brian Dozier squeezing the sawdust out of the bat. He's in a fastball situation. And being a high fastball hitter, let's see what he gets.
2 balls, no strikes. It's ball 3. It wasn't a fastball, and Dozier well ahead. You're not green lighting him here, are you?
Not with the problems that Juan has had getting the ball over the plate. Normally, I certainly would.
Three 3-0. There's a strike in the upper reaches of the zone.
Yeah, he was taken all the way that time. Thought he could duck under a chest-high fastball, but it was there.
Adrianza at first. 3-1. He doesn't run. Dozier pops it up. And this is out of play. Juan Minaya trying to nail it down for the Sox in the finale against the Twins this year. Three balls, 2 strikes. Adrianza at first, 1 away. He runs. The pitch is outside, ball 4, and the Twins have 2 on with 1 down in the 9th. Here comes Ricky Renteria to the hill to talk with Minaya in his infield.
Ricky just giving him a pep talk. Probably tell him, think about a ground ball. Let's get out of the inning.
Eddie Rosario will be the batter. A guy who has struck out once and then hit the ball in the air 3 times, twice on a pop out, once on a double to right field in the 3rd off of Miguel Gonzalez, who threw 6 innings and gave up 3 earned runs.
Rosario 0 for 2 lifetime against Juan. He does have a walk against him.
Dozier at first, Adrianza at second. Juan Minaya facing Rosario. That ball's hit well to right field and falling quickly and in. Avi barehands it. Adrianza comes home, and the Twins have tied the game in the 9th on the RBI single from Eddie Rosario. The winning runs at third.
59 driven in for Rosario. For the Twins causes, not many bigger than that. And now you got to figure you walk Joe Mauer and load him up. Looked like another slider that stayed in the middle of the plate. Juan's slider has not broken sharply to the left-handers this afternoon. That one a game tire. Nice play by Avi, because that ball took an abrupt right turn on him. He almost ran by it, had to go to the bare hand, got it back in. And it looks like they're going to pitch to Joe, but this is somewhat surprising.
Intentional walk is available. Mauer takes low, ball 1. Polanco on deck has made a season out of the series against the Sox, certainly, but Mauer is one of the top average hitters career-wise going in the game right now. Manaya's got a strike at the top of the zone, 1-1. Ball and a strike on Mauer. Dozier at third is the winning run for Minnesota.
Well, the infield is not going to come all the way in, because they're still looking for 2 on a ground ball to either second or short. They believe they can turn 2 with Mauer not having the greatest speed around. The outfield, however, has to play very shallow.
2-1. Way upstairs. There is Jorge Polanco awaiting his turn. Minaya would love a roller to the middle infield. 3-1 to Mauer. That's a strike. 3-2.
The 2 strikes have been at the extreme top of the zone, but they both had the plate.
2 full counts in the inning now for Minaya. First one led to the Dozier walk. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away. Outside, ball 4. Rosario is running. He gets to second. The bases are loaded. Off the walk of Mauer, and it's up to Polanco. Ricky Renteria going through the triage of plays on the ground. Home is maybe where you want to go with a ball. Now to the middle infield with the infield playing in.
Well, Avi was very deep in right field, which obviously they're going to bring him back to the depth where he can make a throw. Let's say on a line drive and cut down Dozier at the plate.
Polanco has been swinging early today. He does here and lines it back to Minaya. The bases are still loaded. 2 down.
That turned out to be a break for the Twins, because it looked like he could have had a double play in a couple different spots, but he couldn't pull the trigger on the throw. It's back to him. This is a good part of it. He does not go to third. Didn't look at second. First base was not in the equation. So now you have 2 out.
I think he thought maybe that Sanchez wasn't going to get to the bag in time. That could be debated. Kepler now has the sweep or extra innings in his hands. hit by the pitch. The Twins walk off with a bruise. His parents were dancers, but he couldn't get out of the way of that one, and Kepler wins it for Minnesota.
So the Twins win a big ball game, and unfortunately, Juan Minaya, who was 3 for 3 in saves, he doesn't get one here, and that slider caught him off the knee, and that is the ball game. A big rally by the Twins. They sweep a series that they pretty much had to sweep, and they got the job done, so credit them. And unfortunately, Sox, who had the lead or a tie every moment of this game until the ball bounced off Kepler.
Minnesota sweeps the Sox in the series finale here in 2017. And we will head back home for a 10-game homestand starting tomorrow. See you then.